Hey Clashes, can you play Super Witches but without the fireball equipment of the Warden? That is a super common question I get whenever I'm showcasing my Super Witch Druid strategy, which by now is already the third most used strategy as well in higher legends. It's just so powerful, and Super Witches by now are just taking over in Clash of Clans because there's only a couple of things to make them one of the strongest troops in the game, and the fireball is one of them, but don't worry, you can replace it if you don't have it upgraded. I will show you exactly what adjustments you need to do to your army, how you play this army composition, and as well, what is the stronger army composition with or without the fireball. Let's dive into it, and first, let's take a look at how you play this army composition. Equipments in general with this strategy are pretty much the same as with the other attack strategy with the Druids and the Super Witches, but on this one we're using obviously not the fireball. For the Barbarian King, it's still the same. Gauntlet, Rage Vial, or the other option is then Gauntlet with the Spiky Ball. For the Queen, I would highly recommend you the Healer Puppet with the new Mirror equipment, or the Frozen Arrow with the Healer Puppet. Both works great. Warden, we're going to replace, as I said, the Fireball. And you still always want to go in from the far side. But what we're going to do now is we're going to somewhat replace the Fireball with lightning spells, because Super Witches typically don't need that many spells, which makes it really nice and easy to use. For us now, where are we going to use our lightning spells? That's the main question, I think. For this one, the Warden should be fine for now. We might have to use an invisibility or something. Let's just do it actually, because the cannon is quite strong. And I think we're just going to use the lightning somewhere here. Can I take down everything? I believe so, right? Okay, the Bitter Huts repaired the scatter, but that's not the end of the world. As long as we get the Expo now, then we can enter from the far side. That's the next nice thing about the strategy. While you're using 99% of the time the Siege Barracks with the Druids and Super Witches, on this one, you're using 99%. Oh, I forgot one lightning. That was the reason. Okay, let's reset the Queen instead. It's not really working. Let's use the Headhunter. I don't want to use the Warden ability just yet, okay? Now the Wall Break, Queen, King, this lock launcher, let's go. Nice. Okay, so the next thing which you might wonder now is what is going on over here. You are using no Druids. What's the reason for that? Well, the reason for that is pretty simple as well, or somewhat simple, I guess. The main reason for that is that Druids and healers have a different ratio when it comes down to healing, or like a different attack speed or different healing speed, whatever you want to name it. And the problem here is now, while I'm trying to concentrate on my Queen and everything, the problem here now is that with healers in general, they don't stack into like they don't endlessly stack. At some point, there's that many healers that the healing is just getting cut, which typically is around the 5 healer mark. This is why Queen chargers are not using 10 healers, because after a certain amount of healers, it does not matter anymore. And now we're coming to the problem why you don't want to combine healers with the Druids typically. Because of the different healing ratio, it does that sometimes they're kind of like overlapping, and this means the stacking is not working, right? Because if the healing attack speed or whatever is for one of type of the healers, like let's say 0.5 seconds, and for the next one it's 0.75 seconds, at some point all of those healers are going to heal at the same time. And this means the healing is just less efficient. This is why you typically try to avoid using healers and using Druids together in an army composition. That is the main thinking behind that, and why you try to avoid it. And that's the concept behind it, right? Otherwise, you have already now seen with the lock launcher, that's a great thing. You're 99% using the time using the lock launcher with this one because you're just not having the jump. So a lot of times with this army composition, you're trying to replace certain aspects of the, let's say, original or like current meta Super Witch army, which is the Fireball combination with the Warden, and with the Lightnings replacing the Fireball. With the Lock Launcher, you're trying to replace the Jump because you don't have that many spell capacities anymore. You still try to hit those healers with the Rage, kind of the same story as you're trying to hit the Rage with the Druids, or like the Druids with the Rage in the other army. So overall, there's a lot of similarities. The only difference is then, well, you're not having Druids or you're not having healers. That's the main difference. Obviously now people could say, well, iTzu Druids are stronger than healers, so why don't you just use still Druids with the Super Witches? Well, the thing here is that you're trying to have a Warden walk, and if their healer is transitioning into like a different troop after 30 seconds, that's not really what you're aiming for, because what you're aiming for is like a 30 to maybe 60-second Warden walk, and then you're going to your Super Witch army. With the Druids, that's not as easily possible. That's like the problem here. For now, let's just see what we can do. I would say Warden walk over here, and that's another really important tip. Always start with the Warden first. You want to have the Warden working. Since we don't want to go too far into the base regarding the Warden walk, I think we're just going to take down the Expo here. It's not the greatest value, like, don't get me wrong, but it's setting up the pathing. That's the same thing what we're doing with the Fireball as well, right? So that's what it's all about. Then we're getting in here. As soon as the extra storage is gone, we're starting with the Witches. Launcher from the far side. And now the big positive thing, and why we have taken down and switched out the Fireball, is because now we actually have still the Warden ability, the Eternal Tome ability, which is arguably the strongest Warden ability and Warden equipment in the game, right? Like, I mean, no big surprise. So that's like the big trade-off which we have, and with this army we make it work. So that's kind of the idea behind that. Let's use the King ability. Hopefully he's going, yep, he's going around, perfect. Witches are going in. Whenever those witches are in danger, this is when you rage. You don't want to rage when there is, like, I don't know, when there is a lot of buildings or something. You want to rage the healers when those super witches are in danger. This is the moment you want to rage those troops, and not before, not after. And, well, so far looks pretty solid. We have our King tanking. We have the Lock Launcher, has opened all of those compartments. I think the Loon took a Black Man or something, I'm not really sure. I think now we can use the first rage. I will just use the Wall Break for my Queen now to get into the next compartment. We still have the Warden ability, so as soon as we're getting towards the double scatter and Town Hall area, we can then use that. Let's use the Queen ability. We have now 3 Queens inside that core. And now, as the Town is waking up and double scatter with the Merge Kit and everything shooting, that's when we use the Warden ability. And that's like where we have like around, I think a little bit below 10 seconds of my troops not taking any damage. As soon as they're waking up again or like getting back to work, that's when we're going to use the Rage and Invisibility spells and everything. Not before, that would be bad. Classic Queen going for different walls, whatever. It's what she likes most. But for us, it's no difference, because those big core compartments, we are going to take them for breakfast. Because with having the Eternal Tome ability in the core, that's just so easy. Let's use the Hog, the Hog Puppet. Then let's just use the Baby Dragon. Let's use Cleanup. And this base is done. One of the biggest differences you can already tell is obviously the time. Because with this strategy, we're having a regular Warden walk. With the regular Super Witch Druid strategy, we are working with like 15 to 20 seconds with our Fireball opening. Which is obviously a huge difference, right? There's a huge difference if you're working for 20 seconds with the Fireball, or if you're working for, let's say, 60 seconds with the Warden walk. So there's a big difference in time, and that is, I guess, the biggest difference maker here, where you have to really make sure that you're getting your cleanup in, you're not waiting too long for your Royal Champ, because I think I had barely ever a time fail with the Super Witch Droids. With this healer equipment, not the healer equipment, but with this healer approach with the Super Witches, it's more likely. But because we have less housing space with the healers, we can bring an additional Super Witch, which is quite nice as well when you're talking about the power of the troops and of the push for the core. Okay, let's do this attack, and then we can get into, okay, what strategy is actually better to use or to run in general. For now, let's think about where should we use the Warden walk. The Eagle is on this side, which is on the opposite side of where all of the lightning value is. But maybe we can combine this still. I would like to go with the lightnings around this area. So let's do the Warden walk at this bottom side. And get the lightnings in just like this. Hopefully I hit everything. Perfect. We're clearing all of those key defenses from that compartment. Now we can like give our Warden a little bit of time. By the way, the patch on the Warden, you can kind of like switch that in and out. I'm not really sure if there's an optimal pet. It feels like especially in Legends, there's like good and bad bases. You can use the Owl, which has the nice thing that you don't need a Test Loon. But if there's an air defense close by, the Owl is useless. You can use the Lizard, but sometimes the Lizard is just running ahead and then useless. But if you're going into a hero with the Warden walk, it's really nice. So there's always those different cases, which makes sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's not nice. Like, it's really hard to pick like the best pet for the Warden walk. But for now, we need to hurry up because I think time is already not on our side anymore. Let's get this in here. Let's use the Let's use the, like this, the wall break, lock launcher in. Things look great. Healers are doing their job. Let's get those test loons in there. There's another thing which you have to keep in mind with this attack in general. You are not using druids, which means healers are necessary. That's like I guess the downside of this. But we'll keep pushing in. Let's rage our troops up now. Let's use the king ability. The warden is getting kind of fried currently, but hey, let's use the warden ability. Come on, witches, come back. Something has to take... Well, we have Valkyries in there, right? So maybe those... I would just rage up the Valkyries, to be honest. Yeah, let's just rage up and freeze this, because the town hall has to go down. Perfect. Okay, so the Valkyries did the job, took down the town hall, and now we're just going to circle the base. And, well, we have everything raged up, so this should hopefully work. Well, let's see if that's going to be the case. But are you kidding me? Come on. Go away, Titan. Leave my healers alone. They have not done anything. Maybe. We still have the queen with her mirror equipped, and which should give us an insane amount of burst damage and boost and DPS and everything. Let's use the royal champ for the core. Or maybe... Okay, we have 30 seconds left. Let's now use the queen equipment ability right now. Let's use the royal champ because the warden decided to jump into the middle of the base. We can use the bear dragon right here. And then let's keep pushing forward. We will use the last invisibility spell for the royal champ, I believe. I think that might be the best thing to do. We have 40 seconds left on this one, but we have 3 archer queens to go, so they can go through a wall, I guess, right? That's what they're doing. So let's just hope that 30 seconds is going to be enough. At the same time, invisibility tower is triggered. That's amazing. Bay Dragon is struggling, but hopefully it's still fine. Let's use this. Royal champ equipment. Everything in here. And then hopefully it's going to be enough invisibility to protect maybe some troops. But I think it should be very enough. Talking about time, power-wise, those attacks are never close. Like, super witches are just insane currently, especially with the rage aura. It's just absurd. But we're getting it with the last second, and that is the big weakness. And this is, in my opinion, what makes this specific fireball missing strategy a little bit weaker. But still, for everyone who has not leveled up the fireball and you want to have a really strong super witch strategy, go for it. It does amazing. Trust me, it's really, really strong. But if you have the fireball, go for it. Especially because I have noticed a lot of people are kind of struggling with, like, what are the important levels to get with each epic equipment. And that is something we're going to concentrate on in tomorrow's video, where I will show you every single little important level you have to grind for, because trust me, you don't need every equipment level 27. For example, the fireball. The fireball, the important level is first level 18, level 20. Because with level 18, you can one-shot with 2 earthquake all of those important defenses. The only exception is the clan castle and the merged cannon. Obviously, town hall is a different story, but like all of the classic defenses, let's call it this way. So, clan castle and the merged cannon. With level 20, you can already take down pretty much everything. The only exception is the eagle, but otherwise, town hall eagle, everything else you can take down with level 20 fireball and 2 earthquakes. So there is a couple of really important threshold level for the epic equipments, because later on they're getting so expensive that's not really worth it. And especially with the over quite easy meta, there's no reason to level them any further. Instead, go for a different equipment. That's just way better and way more fun when you can play different strategies, right? But as well, regarding this comparison, if you have it, use the fireball. It's for sure stronger. If you love super witches, go for this one. The army link is always in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys back tomorrow for the equipment guide. Until then, see ya and bye bye.